Guys, all of you are working in the companies, right? And you have community management as part of your profession. So let's start simply. Why your companies are empowering you to create communities within the companies? What's the main benefit of having the community within the company as part of the profession? Jirka, can you start?
Well, I can start, and thank you for having me here. Basically, for Project Board, there are two reasons like why we build communities. One of them, one community is actually like built around people, around technologies, around our values, and it helps us to bring people closer to Project Board, and it helps us with hiring. And the second community for us, it's called Product Makers, and since Project Board is focused and it's a tool for product management, and it helps product managers build better products. It's actually built around product managers. It helps educate the market. It helps them and explain them like how to do product management better. And that's the second community which helps us get customers closer to Product Board.
Anna, what's the communities? Which communities do you have in Coca-Cola?
So, hello again, and thanks a lot for having me here. Maybe I will slowly introduce myself, as I know many of you, but for some of them this is the first meeting. I'm from Coca-Cola HBC. We are the bottler of the Coca-Cola company, and basically why do we focus on the community is from similar reason like in Product Board. We boost the engagement, we work with the motivation of our employees, and of course it helps us with the hiring. It reduces the cost of the whole hiring process. For me personally, having the communities at work means that we have added value. It's something extra that I don't go for work just to make money, but also to be part of the projects I believe in, to be in the community with a similar, sometimes different opinions, but always work for one reason and have one purpose. And me personally, I work in the company with young talents, so students and the future leaders of our company, and also we build a community of our social media advocates. So maybe later we can speak more about that, but also social media presence is super important, and we have the community active in this field.
What's the community behind this?
Hello everyone. By the way, it's great to say that you're a butler. It just sounds amazing, even though it's different than the butler, but butler, I like that. So Muse, just to clarify, I work only with the technological company, so community. Only the developers, QA engineers, everyone who works in the engineering team. So when I speak here, don't take it as the whole Muse thing, that I don't engage with our clients or etc. I only engage with the people who work with us as the developers or may work for us. And from the very beginning, it sounds boring, but it was really to boost the hiring, because I think that these days all the technical companies pay good money to everybody, so people can really choose where they want to work and they'll have solid money everywhere, but they need to work somewhere where they're gonna enjoy their work. I know it's not, I'm not very specific, but I think it's true, so that you show what technologies you use. Because in technology world, I think there was some survey that StackShare did, that majority of developers will join the company for the technology that they do, and then only the product, etc., etc. So we need to show what technology we're doing and that we're doing it good. But it evolves in time, because it started only as purely hiring, let's say, prolonged arm of hiring, but now it's really about giving back to the community where we came from. So we are part of the mathematical physical faculty community, because so many people from our company went through the school. Junior guru, Honza Javorek, can you raise your hand? Are you here? Yep. So we have so many career switchers in our company, so we are part of that as well, because we feel like we came from there, we need to give back.
Perfect. Thank you very much for a short introduction about the importance of the communities and what kind of communities you have in your company. So this one should be about the engagement and about making people community active. So what does it mean in your own words to be community active? And Janu, you can start.
It's to contribute. And that's probably the most difficult thing that you'll face as a community manager, because very likely people who are part of your community are not paid to be part of your community. You are paid to do the community. So you will be eventually the biggest negotiator you can be, and you have to really explain to people why it's beneficial for them. And it shouldn't really go top down, just telling them, hey, you need to write a blog post because something. Well, no, there needs to be the because. It cannot be just you need to write a blog post just because. There needs to be the explanation behind it. And what we try to explain to people, why is it beneficial to be part of the community, is that you make yourself a better developer. You have bigger portfolio, even though it sounds bad because now we're making them more attractive to all the other recruiters, but we feel like they learn so much during the process, and we as community managers, we need to enable them to be able to do it, because we are here to facilitate everything. They only need to focus on the work. So it's all about explaining them that it's beneficial for them, for the business, and for the whole community.
How do you see it, Anna, in Coca-Cola? What's community active mean there?
I would just simply say that being part of the community brings happiness, and also we were facing the fact that our people didn't have enough time to be community active, especially when it comes to our CSR activities. So lately we decided to count volunteering job as a part of the working hours, and I find this as a very beneficial and the way the companies should go in order to promote and boost the community activeness among the employees, because community active employees equals big input for the company itself. So it's a circle, and if we support our employees to have time, to have the energy, to have the capabilities to be part of something bigger, they will be faster, they will work more precisely, they will have the engagement, they will spread the word about the company outside, and it's all the circle. So that's why, for example, this was one of the steps we decided to do.
Before I give this microphone to Jirka, I want to say that just yesterday we came up with a slogan with our CTO: legalize community. Simply make it really part of, institutionalize it, make it part of the performance review, because if you have senior developer, he really should be already speaking about what he's doing. So make it part of it, make it part of your sprints, put it into the Jira or wherever the developers use to track their tools. And plus, it needs to come from the leaders. If the leaders just want the community because they saw it, let's say, at Muse or Product Board and say, hey, I want this, but they don't see the value behind it, then you're screwed.
Yeah, and I can totally agree. And for us, like at Product Board, it's and also as Jan mentioned, it's about giving back. And if you just realize that there are right now a lot of companies who saw the success of, like for example, Kiwi.com, STRV, Muse, who are doing this kind of like meetups, trying to engage employees to be community active. But then you can see why they are doing that. Like you can exactly see, like they are doing that just for the sales or for the hiring, and there is not that kind of like sense of belonging, and it's not about like that you would like to educate others and give something back to the community and provide the value. And that's why we are focusing on at Product Board on organizing this kind of meetups for local communities, giving them the support. Always like trying to educate them and trying to always be or not to be salesy about like the hiring. It's usually that you need to showcase what technology you are using, what are your core values, what are the people behind the Product Board, and then like later on, if people think that Product Board or Muse at the meetup is like really cool, then they can join us. But it shouldn't be about like, hey, we have the meetup, join us.
I would only add one thing, that it's important that it's voluntarily. You know, there are people who by nature, they don't want to be part of the community or CSR activities, so we respect them. There are people who just need a bit more, let's say, push or support. What I like to use when I'm coming up with some ideas or the plan ahead, I am trying to incorporate our SLT, the senior leadership team from our company. So if my colleagues see our GM really found 3 hours and when he was a part of one of our CSR activities, I'm more likely to get more people engaged for the next time. So I don't want to say we are not forcing the people. Of course, we are corporate companies. Sometimes we need to fill the quotes, let's speak honestly, but we are trying to really make it as human as possible. And senior leadership team plays a very crucial role in all the process of motivation and engagement. and contribution to CSR activities.
And maybe now I'll take away the moderating part from Láďa, because I see the
I'm useless here.
I see the question. I see the question, and it's exactly what you were referring to. This is a great point, and I think some companies or maybe communities struggle with this because they kind of want to impose it on everybody, which should never be the case. Community work, at least in B2B world where I work, is something extra. It's something on top. Of course, I said that I want to legalize it, but in terms so that it's transparent for everybody. Not that it means that you join the company, you need to be part of the community, and you need to come to events, write blog posts. No, that's not the case. You'll always be judged by the work you do. I'm just saying that for some roles, simply spreading the word is already part of your job. When you're a team lead, you need to fill in your team as well, so you need to really lead by example and do it. So maybe this track won't be for you because you can always stay individual contributor, and if the companies have the right salary leveling done, it will not mean that you will earn less than the managers. Simply you will be in different track and different skills and traits will be needed from you. So definitely, or you can even jump in and out for those that you need. For example, we do trainings about how to write a blog post, and maybe you don't want to talk at meetups, but maybe you want to write a blog post. So you join that, and you do that.
Jirka, would you refer to it? How it's in product board? Does anyone needs to be community active, or is it voluntarily?
Yeah, it's all voluntarily, and basically, like my job as a community manager, and also Tuis, she is working with me in the community team. Basically, our job is to make it as easier as possible for people to be community active. Like you can't expect that people will have the public speaking skills. You can't expect that they will be like really they have like copywriting skills as well, because like we are not native speakers, we are not writers. And you need to make it as easy as possible for them. So it means like if you'd like to push them to speak at the meetups, you need to give them the support. You need to do the dry runs with them. You need to give them the feedback on the presentation. You need to create a space like for them to do, for example, internal meetups where they can, in a safe space, where they can try the presentation in front of their colleagues. And then after that, they will feel comfortable and calm, so they can go like to some, for example, external meetup. And that's how it works at Product Board. And the same like applies to writing articles, that if I need from someone to write an article, I need to be there like for them to help them with brainstorming the topic, then give them some kind of like writing consultation. And then at the end, I need from the writer, I need just the core message about the article. And I don't expect that they will be the writers. So I can help them with our copywriter to finish the article, make it like really nice and easy. And this is like how you can push people to be community active, like with your support.
Mm-hmm. And how do you motivate people in Coca-Cola to be more voluntarily active, more community active, help with extra stuff?
We give them Coca-Cola. No, it was just a joke. It was just a joke. We have a recognition system, let's say, but not only when it comes to being a community active, but also we have another, let's say, measures. We motivate them by organizing events. So for people from each community, we are trying to meet outside the companies, bring the values, bring some workshops from outside. I will only build on what was already said, give them the capabilities to feel comfortable of being community active. So external webinars, possibility to attend external events. So all of this. And then I would say the sense of the community and the fact that we try to celebrate what we did right, also what we did wrong. Lately, we started to also talk about fuck-ups, which is great because it's not always the best. So also this is a part of, let's say, the common sense of being a part of a company.
Jan, what's your number one tip how to engage people, to those who want to be engaged, those who have this like idea that they want to be community active, those who you don't forcing into something which they don't.
2 words, premium merch. Everybody likes merch. I think I spoke about it before. By the way, downstairs you can take new socks. They are great for running. But we created this engagement game. To be honest, I spoke about it before, and I always think about if it's really working. I still have to look at the numbers, but it looks like those people who really want to be active, they even go to me and tell me, "Hey, I'm missing some points for this talk. You haven't noticed, etc." So I feel like I'm doing it for those people, and you will always have the community stars. Right now, I was looking at the numbers of the blog posts written, and if you look at about 100 blog posts that we wrote during the last year, during the last 3 years, 50% are written by 8 people, and the rest 50% are written by 35 people. So you'll have people who are super active, and you need to really kind of work with them maybe a little more, but you have to have open space for the others. But back to the engagement game, we were thinking how to motivate people, how to reward maybe, because as we said, it's not obligatory. But if you do it, you do something nice, you do something extra. So we just thought that we will do a premium merch, because normally in company you get a t-shirt when you start, but we started thinking a little bigger, and we collaborated with the fashion designer who created us like a line of merch that even says limited edition summer 2020, and you cannot get it other way than getting the points. So people are really kind of, if they thought that I may want to write a blog post, then they were like, okay, I'm definitely going to write the blog post. And people are coming to me, hey, I want to buy this. And I say, I'm sorry, this is just for the people who want it. So yeah, premium merch. Because somehow in the tech world, people have nice salaries, but if they get free t-shirt, they go crazy. There is a video, and I cannot find it, but I saw Bill Gates at a hockey game or something, and he catches one of those t-shirts from this like gun when they shoot it, and he's so happy about t-shirt that is probably XL. He will never wear it, but he got it for free. So yeah. Are there any psychologists here? Because then maybe a topic for them.
Yeah, and I can definitely confirm that, like, even like previously at Kiwi.com, like when we wanted to motivate our speakers to be visible or speak at the conference, like each speaker who will speak at the conference will get a special limited hoodie, and which was actually created by the community, by a word cloud. Alena, you can show it. Yeah. So if you can see the word cloud, it's actually created by the people from Kiwi.com, what they think about like the code Kiwi.com about the community, and it's amazing because everybody. It's extremely outdated, but they don't want to change it because they created it themselves. Yeah, so that's the reason. Yeah, and like another tip, like from me, would be as we talk about the impact of the community, that you need to show to the people that they can have the impact of their work. So if you are going to motivate them, like to speak publicly, to write the articles, you need to show them the numbers. That if they do something, it will have some impact, and also that they help not only themselves, but they will help also the community. They will probably inspire them. They will probably like teach them something new, give something back, but also it can help the company as well. And you need to show them like certain numbers and data, so they can do that.
All right, let's get into the questions on Slido, because there are several of them. Let me just go through them. The first one is, how do you recognize and giving kudos to your internal community in your companies?
On a weekly retro. So we have a retro meeting, which is not really retrospective from the Scrum methodology, but it's kind of like show and tell at the end of the week. And we have one section which is called kudos, bloopers, shame. So we don't not only give kudos, but we also shame people. I mean, usually people shame themselves for introducing some bug. But yeah, we have a specific section there. But I think the best thing is when, for example, a CTO writes a comment, I really enjoyed this article, this is so good. Or when even the founder of the company shares the article on LinkedIn, and these people get the recognition like that. Yeah.
We write articles about the employees who are the most active, and it goes via internal communication, so basically the internal visibility. And then usually we also organize the meetings with our GM, so again there is this level of recognition, let's say, from the higher management.
Mm-hmm. All right. Are communities events during the work time or after? For parents, for example, how do you support work-life balance with community activities? Anyone have an idea how to do that? Yeah.
I don't even know what is work time now. Like, when do you, is it 9 to 5? Is it 10 to 6? I don't know, because I think after COVID we really changed into you really manage your own time, or at least at news. And if you haven't started, you should. So whatever is part of company, if it's company is involved, I say it's work time. Even if we have like a outing where we come with kids and have fun, for me that's part of work, because you are creating the sense of unity. I think I saw it somewhere there. So I say it's part of work.
Yeah, for us it's part of work as well.
Sometimes it will be on the weekend. For example, there was a web expo which went on to the weekend. So the people who were there, they know very well that the Monday probably they'll take off, or maybe half day, or etc.
Yeah, and we have like for these activities as well, like the volunteering days, which people can dedicate to and spend like mentoring or speaking at the meetups, for example, and they can have this kind of like time off for these activities.
Yeah, I'm honestly also surprised with the words work-life balance. I think it's gone these days.
But it's more difficult to have it.
Yeah.
Because now you really kind of, if you're home, it's difficult to draw the line. I don't think I'm the best person to give you advice how to do it, but yeah, you're your own boss in this sense.
Like the discussion about work life is completely different and not for this conference today.
No, but it's
where I was aiming is that, from my experience, the most empowering communities and so on are in the companies where the flexibility is empowered, and when there is up to you and your decision, if you believe that this is work which you are doing and which you take as an extra off, or if this is something that you do on your voluntarily base. That at least that's my experience.
Can I add? I think it's super important to have a choice, you know. So you have a choice to take day off, and that's very important in all the process.
And you have a choice not to come to the event.
Exactly. I like the idea and the question, like, how did your companies realize? I just archive it. Sorry. How did your companies realize that you need a community manager? Who brought the idea? How the position appeared, and who brought it on the table? And I would maybe start with you, Jan, because it's an interesting story.
Maybe I'll ask, how many of you are in the company that you know they're looking for a community manager? Or that you looked in the past that you look for a community manager? Okay, I not see so many hands, but I think, yeah, they are coming up. Everybody's looking for a community manager now. It looks like it's a gold mine now. So if you want to switch your career, be a community manager, but be a good one, because you'll have a great job. But I feel like some companies really, as we said at the beginning, they just see it somewhere and I want this. Let's do it. And I don't think that it works that way. I wasn't a community manager when I joined News as a community manager. I was there already before. And I think that's exactly the way. You need to find. Maybe I'm canceling now myself from offers from your companies, because I'm going to say something that goes against this, but I will say that you should grow this person within the company. This person needs to know so much. I was today having a workshop on community as a product, and there is this Marty Kagan inspired book, I'm sure you know it, from about product management, and he basically says you need to know everything and you need to be the biggest generalist in the company, and that's what you need to be. And I think it's very difficult to bring somebody in, of course, and I like to use sport equivalents to business. Of course, you can buy Cristiano Ronaldo and he'll give you the impact right now, but he's expensive. But you can also grow some young kid that will grow into this role in a couple of years and he'll be cheaper for you. So I think if you look to have a meaningful community, find somebody really passionate about this within the company and give him the tools and give him the time to do that. But I didn't answer the question.
Yeah, exactly.
So why did we?
That's what I was just getting.
Yeah, sorry. We just needed to hire. That was the main thing, because we knew we needed an edge. Because there is so many companies sitting here who want to steal our talent and who are stealing our talent from somewhere else. And even though we are friends, we're fighting for that talent. But so we needed to find an edge, and I'm happy that the CTO had this in his head, that we need somebody dedicated to this exact job.
But I'm sorry, Anna. How exactly it came up to the idea of course, we have a problem, we have an issue, we have a challenge. We want to do the hiring. How the idea that the community manager will fix it happened? Like, who brought it up? Was it your idea? Was it Honza's, your CTO's idea? How did it emerge that let's do this instead of let's see, for example, finding another recruiter?
I don't know, to be honest. I can recall it's been 3 years. I'm not saying that it's too long for me not to remember, but I don't really remember the thought process behind it. But I'm happy it happened because I can sit here and talk a lot. But I really don't remember. So maybe somebody else.
Honest answer.
Well, I will only say that we arrived into the point where we needed someone who will basically put a strategical overview to all the small projects which were in the company from the beginning till the end. I don't want to say he covers everything. I think the big part of community manager is basically to connect the people from across the department. And he is, let's say, not the engine, but someone who really cares that everything what we plan is, let's say, kept. So nothing surprising.
Jirka, do you want to add the story about the product or how your role opened in there?
You were hired as a star.
Yeah, like I was hired to product board. Yeah, like we did like quite a lot of projects like at Kivit.com previously, and then product board saw the value basically of connecting people together and putting them together and engaging with the local communities. Our founder and co-founder as well, but like they all went to meet us for the product feedback, not only like for hiring people, but also like they went there trying to engage with the people, ask them questions, take care about them and supporting them. And I think they started even like before I was hired.
Yeah.
So it's not about like just the community managers. I think the companies can start doing that. There are a lot of local communities which you can engage with. And it's not about that you will start building your own community like immediately after you hire the community manager. It's not about you. It's about like other communities and how you behave and how you actually, what you are giving them, like if you are giving them the value. So that's the thing. Yeah.
Like again, in my experience, usually the need for community manager doesn't come from the fact that we are missing this field and this expertise. It's coming from we are already doing it in another roles, that somebody else is doing this job as a part of the job. We are community active. We are having someone close to our radar, and it's just getting too much of work time that it actually would need someone who can do it full time. Because when you do full time some job and some part of your job become the majority of that, you can be better at that and getting better and be more focused, more dedicated to that. So usually it comes directly from the fact that you usually doing the community work already, and you just need someone who will make it on a full time.
Yeah, and also like we need to mention that when we are talking right now about like community management in the companies, and right now it might seem that it's not like the community manager, but it's just the lead generator for your recruitment. And it's important to mention like that the community manager should be responsible as well. Like you need to build the internal community first. That's the job of community manager in the company. That's why it's called like community manager, because you need to build it first internally, and then you can grow and build on it, and then you can pick up the fruits like externally as well. And
you need to work with so many peers across the company, because we have, and honestly, we have worked that's a corporate thing to say, we worked in a silo so much. We worked on our little thing, and we didn't communicate with the HR, we didn't communicate with the marketing, and all of a sudden there was such a huge disconnect between the design of the things that we were producing and what was the company doing. So that was something that we realized we're doing something wrong. We need to be focusing more on the inside community. I always say for the tech people, we are kind of like the API. We just connect things together with others, and you're kind of just the facilitator. You're the master of the puppets on behind. You just really need to make sure that you know people to connect. But I remembered, so it was one of our engineers who was already starting doing it. He started doing like meetups. He started doing our Twitter, and as Láďa says, it started to become bigger. So we need to have somebody full time. So that's how I got here.
I will stick with you because the question you started already answering is one of those which we have in Slido. Working only with engineers, how do you create a sense of unity also with the rest of the company? So how you fix the fact that you're starting to be your own dedication style, how you said, and the rest of the company did not follow?
Like, to be honest, I don't think this is really my job to fix. I think there should be somebody above even me, let's say, across like employer branding. I think you have both connected, right? I think you soon will ditch one of them because you'll have to focus on something more. But I don't think it's bad to have like tribes or to have different teams having different cultures within the company. Of course, you need to have one goal as the company, but sometimes I feel like companies really want everybody to be friends with everybody, and that's impossible. We are now 500 people, and we are so different. Of course, we have one goal, and it's great when people interact, but you will be different, definitely. But we still do things how to get people to know each other and how to get to know the work, for example. So we started doing this project called Code and Tell, where anyone in the company can book an hour with a developer and spend an hour with a developer and ask anything. Maybe it can be somebody who starts developing himself or herself. So she will ask, how to start coding. Somebody will be just interested, how does a code look like? So this is a great way how to engage with the rest. And to be honest, yesterday when I was having dry run of my workshop at work, and there was our head of customer care, and I asked her, how does she work with her team? And she said, well, we just get inspired by your team, what you do. So this is also great that you can inspire the rest of the company to start applying the concepts or things. So now we have finance and tell, we have support and tell, we have people and tell. So anyone can book time in different departments for an hour, and this is the great place to get to know each other.
And how it works in Coca-Cola, because you have a variety of the people, right, in your communities and this kind of stuff. How to make belonging of everybody across the company?
So basically, we have around 1,000 people Czech and Slovakia because our business unit is connected Czech and Slovakia. Different profiles from business developers, from people working in the factory, because here in Prague we produce basically every bottle you buy from Coca-Cola portfolio till the top management. So I would say I would only agree that you cannot connect everyone. By nature, we have preferences for the people, and there are people you really can't get on well, and there are people who you prefer. What basically part of my agenda is to attend the external career fairs organized by universities, and I really like it because a lot of communication, meeting new people, and once I was talking, why don't we organize it internally? Because also we are facing lack of communication among the departments, because we are corporation, because we are big company, because we have 8 departments. So what we do is that we are planning to organize basically in 2 months internal career fair where each department will prepare overview of what's the key responsibilities, and then finally we will learn a bit more about each other. So I won't hear anymore on the corridor that HR doesn't do that much. Hopefully it will help also to this. Again, a joke.
Jirka, next question is coming to your way. I know that you have some kind of gamification as well, and I know the master of it is Jan, but where do you believe the gamification process should take part in the community building process? Does it work as a booster every time, or there needs to be some preparation done before you start just rewarding people with merchandise or other stuff?
Well, I think it can boost your activities quite a lot, but it's shouldn't be like the main thing. And there are a lot of researches about that, like which covers as well like employee referral programs, those kind of like activities like with the community management, and that it's not about the money, it's not about the gifts, like it's about like that kind of purpose that people who do that for the community and who actually do those activities understand why is it important, and it's somehow like important to them as well, like personally. So of course this kind of like benefits and perks and merchandise, it can help, but it shouldn't be like the key factor.
Maybe just be careful with it, because to be honest, I don't think it's for everyone. We were doing internal discovery, and some of the developer wrote us, just stop it. It's like putting just some people on pedestal, and it's not for everybody. Or I don't care about it, he wrote us. So you will not please everybody, definitely, by it. And the ultimate goal should not be that this person will get a hoodie. That's just like a nice thing on top. That's really just, so you need to really frame it that you're not in there for the hoodie, but when you do it, you actually get a hoodie. So it's kind of like just like a byproduct of doing it.
I really like this idea of hoodies. We have to talk. Not.
Okay. Question. Is it a good idea to invite the company high management to community activities? What's the best practices? And I can see you're already eager, or...
I think they should be already part of it. I can tell for the CTO, who is let's say the leadership, so one of the highest person in the company. Of course, he will not go to everything, but he needs to be part of it. He needs to be visible. He needs to write the blog post. He needs to talk occasionally. Recently, we had a talk, and he specifically said, Jan came to me and he said that I haven't spoken anywhere for a while, so here I am, which didn't sound so convincing, but of course he meant it as a joke because he likes, I think, publicity as well. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, also we are trying to connect our senior leadership team as much as we can. We have usually expats, people from abroad, so even this, plays a bit key role in all the process, the culture fit. So in some of the companies, especially big companies, usually the senior leadership team is a little bit isolated from the rest of the company. We are trying to organize breakfast with GM. Every function head should meet the team at least 3 or 4 times per week. There are weekly meetings. The continuation, I would say, also the habit that you continue with the regular meetings. And basically the possibility that you can see your GM passing the corridor, having the coffee. There is no border. There is, let's say, a space to meet him. And the fact that they can meet also our SLT on regular monthly meetings where we speak about the results of the company, all of this plays a key role in the engagement of the people and the connection with the leaders.
And also I think it's easier for us because we are still, well, not small, we are about 500 people, but still we're not a corporation per se, so I think it's easier also when you see your CTO walking around with basketball t-shirt and basketball shorts. It kind of breaks the ice a little bit. He doesn't wear anything else. But I think that helps as well. I think it can get intimidating the more you grow and the more structure you have. So I think that's a struggle that we'll face eventually as well.
Yeah, I completely agree to that. Like as I said at the beginning of this whole today's event, I'm super happy that we have founders among us and leaders, because in my experience, the most thriving communities are those which are driven, or at least very hardly supported by their founders, and they are taking part of those community activities as much as they can, even though they have super busy schedules, but they always find at least time for those most important activities which they should be part of. So definitely include high management into your community activities and so on. One question which came to my mind, and you actually, Jan, opened it, but it will be more for Jirka because you pointed out the correct way. Jirka, what's the difference between employer branding and between community management? What's the main differentiator in this role?
Well, I think community management is part of employer branding. Also, community management, right now, like how I perceive my role is more about like employer branding, because how I perceive the community, it's usually like the communication on both sides. That you are asking the community what they want, then you are giving them something. And I can be like honest that we are doing quite a lot of activities that we are like providing for example, we are providing them with the events, with the educational content, and we are like trying to listening like what they would like to do and what topics are they interested in for the upcoming meetups. But for me, it's kind of like still like this kind of like lead generation for the employer branding, and of course like there are community aspects of it that you are giving them some kind of like added value, you are asking them for their opinions, you are like engaging with the internal community and trying to make them happy. So it's like small part of it, but in terms of the employer branding, you need to know as well like what your hiring plans are, and you need to adjust the strategy for it. You need to ask your recruiters and your hiring managers and leaders. You need to know like what positions and what roles are the most important one for you, like for each quarter, for the whole year. And then you need to like create a strategy, like, and it contains like not only the meetups, it contains like the events, a lot of different programs, the articles, the podcasts, also like how your career site looks like, how you are perceived on Glassdoor. And it's kind of like pretty complex, and community management is part of it.
Mm-hmm. Anna, do you see some other differentiators between community and employer branding?
No, I would say it's very bounded, because basically what you do inside, you should also communicate outside. Of course, there are some differentiations, but it comes to company culture. We want to hire people who will fit to our teams. So we rather keep our teams, let's say, with a vacancy position, and we spend more time with the hiring process, but really to find the right person, because we want the teams to feel completed and, you know, to give the right people to continue in the work they are already doing.
Yeah, and we will get back to your idea to find the community manager within the company. Is it a good idea to promote, for example, developer to a community manager or somebody else?
To me, that's the most ideal scenario. Just heads up, you'll talk to people a lot. You are a people person, so I'm not saying that there is one type of developers, the one that we think that doesn't like people. I don't think so. But yeah, it's a lot talking to people and yeah, a lot of talking to people. So, but I think this is the ideal scenario. If it's a community for developers, this is the best thing. I wish I was developer because I wouldn't have to learn so many things when I started doing that.
Thank you very much. We are slowly getting out of our time. There is this last question about the balance between internal and external projects. I think we partially already answered that because it needs to be balanced. So therefore, I would prefer to close this discussion with your personal tip where people should start building their communities. What's the keystone? What's the key mindset you are always bringing to the table when you are asked this question? Jirka, feel free to start.
Well, for me, that you need to realize that it's not about you. Like that you need. Does it work? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. That it's not about you at all, and you need help of other people in your company. You basically. Also for employer branding, also for the communities, it all should be about the values. It all should be about the culture, about like something that you find. How I perceive the communities is that you find some kind of purpose, and community is the place where all these people find the meaning, like for this kind of like purpose, and so this is it. And it's not about you, it's about like all other people, and you as a community managers, you are just the one who binds them together and glue them together.
I would maybe also say that it's very nice it's okay to, no, I would say it's important to be specific, because what happens that sometimes people come up with thousands of ideas, and then, you know, we have to find the purpose, because you always have to link it to your business, because you are not doing things just like this. And yeah, so for me, when I'm creating some project or when I'm working with the communities we established in our company, we are also trying to be specific about the target and the purpose, so we know where are we together aiming, in order to also have a time and to match it with our working duties.
And maybe I'll say one thing that I try to now tell as much as I can. This is not the tip how to run a community, or maybe it is a little bit, but be very careful when you call your community or your company a family. I know that many people do that. We are a family. You are part of a family. We are family. We're a family. And you know, maybe if you dig deep in the internet, you'll maybe find me writing it somewhere. But I really prefer that we are a sports club. You probably weren't chosen to be in your family, and you will not kick somebody out of your family, hopefully. But that can happen in the company, and that's with the sports. It doesn't mean that you don't like each other. I think that usually the sports clubs, they like each other, but they still try to compete within each other. We have very competitive nature in Muse, but at the same time, we have the same goal. So I always say that the daily work is like the trainings every day you have. You try to fight for the 11 players on the spot in football, and on the weekends play the best. And that's the goal, to win. Even the people who are on the bench are now part of the team. So I think this is very important to put in the mindset of people, that when you're firing people, are you still saying that you're a family? Are you saying that, I'm sorry, you weren't a good brother, you're leaving? So I really think that, because even you can leave for another company, and the same, you can leave for another sports club. Maybe somebody offers you more money, or the values of another team is better. So this is my thing I wanted to share. Okay,
thank you very much for perfectly closure of this panel. I really like this thinking about sportsmanship and in the company where I was working. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jirka. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Jan. Awesome talk with you. Thank you.